Hey, what's going on, everyone? Back with another knife overview. Today we're going to be looking at the Medford M-48. I've been wanting to get my hands on one of these for a while. Great deal came up, couldn't pass it up, so I thought I would check it out. Here's the box that it came with. Again, Medford comes with an awesome warranty so long as you don't modify the knife, but you got that, cardboard box. Inside there, you're going to have the COA right there, or COC in this case, Certificate of Creation. Then you have this Medford zipper pouch and the dog tag, which tells you all about the warranty. So really nice packaging. I think Medford across the board does a great job with their packaging. The details on this knife, so it has a 3.9-inch blade. It's going to be 8.6 inches overall. Closed, you're looking at 4.6 inches. The blade on here is going to be S35VN. It has an aluminum anodized show side, titanium clip side. The MSRP on this one is a pretty stout $560. And then my favorite stat about this knife is the weight. This thing weighs 3.5 ounces, so super lightweight. This is also running on bearings. All right, I'm going to try to tear through my observations here of this M48. The first thing was just how lightweight it was. This knife is super slicey. I love the blade thickness, as I said in the intro. So it has a titanium clip side and then an aluminum show side, which I was a little bit hesitant about the aluminum. Like, I didn't know how well it would hold up, but come to find out, certainly aluminum holds anodization a lot better than titanium would. So, I mean, the jury's still out on that, but that's what I've heard. And then it also kind of adds to the lightweight nature of this. Again, as far as the blade profile goes, it has a very even profile throughout the entire cutting edge, and I think that that's really cool. It doesn't get thicker at the base and then thin out to the top. This is going to be consistent the entire way through, and I think that that's really cool. The next observation was the pocket clip, which I really do like this pocket clip, and it's kind of a unique design, I would say. It attaches from the other side of the blade. So this being the show side, there's a little like plug here, and then the hardware to keep it in there. So you could switch this over, which would be kind of interesting, right, to see what it looks like. But there's a plug on this side that's actually covered up by the pocket clip, and then that kind of arrowhead design fits in there, and then you throw the hardware. So I had not seen this pocket clip design before, but I thought it was really cool. This one's kind of a flame titanium with a little dog there. So kind of unique and something that I have never seen before. The next observation was this, anodized, or I mean, kind of just describing things about this knife. It does have an anodized lock bar over travel, and then the pivot here is, it kind of looked like an Allen key at first. It's actually a very large Torx bit. I'm not sure whether it's a T12, something like that, but it's pretty substantial. I was surprised to see such a large Torx pivot, but that's kind of cool. It's not proprietary or anything like that. The next observation was just this. So obviously the M48 is the patent main battle tank. There are these tracks on the show side, and honestly, that's my least favorite part of this knife. I think it would have been cool if they did a patent edition of the M48, and then they could get crazy with it, but I don't know. It's a little gimmicky looking to me, and it really doesn't add to the grip or anything. And similarly, another observation that I had was this knife design. I was like, man, as soon as I got this, and actually my buddy made a comment about it. He's like, yeah, it looks exactly like the Boker Quaken. This is not the same thing as a Boker Quaken. It kind of looks like it though. I was like, it's definitely Quaken-y, but please don't make that comparison. It's bigger, and I don't know. I can't complain about it as much. I still am able to get a good grip on this thing, but certainly it is a very linear knife. There's no ergonomics. I was trying to think of a good comparison, and it kind of just it reminds me of a Lego knife almost. I mean, it certainly, the construction is very simple but purpose built, but there's nothing that was done for the ergonomics of this thing. And I don't know. I mean, I guess it would have made it lighter if they did, but I'm really surprised that I don't hate it. Like I feel like I can get a good grip on it. There's no jimping at all. This flipper tab does stick out. It has a hole in it, which I have no idea why they put a hole in it. It probably saved 0.000000 ounces on this thing, but that's kind of interesting to me. Like I still am able to get a good grip and purchase on this, and I feel really, really confident when I'm holding it. The next observation that didn't take me any time to recognize was had the same problem with my Slim Midi actually, was this lock bar, right? So in order to actuate the lock bar, it is just so close. Like, I mean, it's a very thin knife for sure. And they do, they put the effort in to kind of chamfer the one side or cut it out seemingly to make it so you could get in there. But it is just so thin. And I thought it was interesting. Like I compared this to McNeese, like, both sides of this. I mean, it might be like inappropriate, but I was like, man, you can just like, you can spread the cheeks of this one a lot easier than you can this M48. Like you kind of got to like wiggle your thumb in there, and then even then it's still kind of tight. And any other liner lock that I looked at, I mean, I'll pull this Jaeger out as well. Like you just have like much more purchase in there to get in there, get a little mechanical advantage to shut this thing. This one, I kind of feel like I'm like digging for gold in here. Like I have to really like jam my thumb in here to get it to move. So that was another observation. It's not dissimilar to the Slim Midi by any means, but just another thing to take into account. The next thing that I noticed, and again, I'm not trying to like beat up on Medford at all. Like I really do like Greg Medford. I like his knives, but I kind of saw a lot of the same things. Like, I mean, so that Slim Midi with the lock bar and what that looked like. The other thing that I noticed was, so the 187 DP that I had was also, this DLC coating, and certainly, I mean, it makes sense. If you can see right there, it's a little bit reflective where that the detent kind of travels over there. So that's fine that that's silver, but I don't know if you can see it, but almost like at the edge of the blade. Again, this thing was brand new when I got it. I know that these are handmade, whatever, but I took into account, I wasn't going to say anything about it. Then I was like, this thing's $560. See how it actually, like, it shot, like, they kind of overdid the sharpening when they did the grinding on this thing into the anodization or the DLC, whatever. Yeah, DLC. They kind of took it to the limit there, and it's not, it just kind of looks a little bit lazy to me. Like, I mean, certainly this blade is finished really nice. It has a nice kind of, not mirror, but almost finish to it. But they took it even to this, like, sharpening choil, I guess. And that just looks a little bit lazy to me. It definitely takes away from the cosmetics. The last observation that I had was just the action. So, as I said before, this thing is running on bearings, and Lord knows, I mean, this thing's not tuned. I haven't taken it apart yet or anything like that. I would just say, and certainly it has very solid lockup. It's very smooth, but I would not classify it as a fidgety knife at all. Like I don't know if it's the lightweight nature of it or it just needs to be broken in, but this thing, it's not sticky or anything. It takes a little bit more. When I saw that, these M48s ran on bearings, I was like, man, this thing's gonna like whip out like a Jaeger or like my McNeese. It really doesn't. Like, you have to be committed to firing this knife, and that's definitely something worth noting. The last piece that I wanted to offer was these blade stops here, which I think it's cool. They did a really interesting design here. Like, one of my critiques of that 187 DP was just the edge of the blade stuck up like really high and it was sharp. This one sticks up a little bit, like where the actual lock bar catches the blade, but it's not nearly as bad. And what I really like are these blade stops. Actually, when you open it, they kind of go internally into the frame, so they disappear. And I think that that's really cool. Like, they're there right there, disappearing into the frame. So most knives, we see them kind of stay up on top, so that they can be viewed. These don't. They're all internal. They have a little, nest or a home for them to go to, and I think that that's really cool. And that concludes my overview of the Medford Knives M48. All in all, I mean, I think that this is it's a very lightweight great all-around knife. And I was a little bit scared when I opened it up, because this did have like Quaken-y vibes to it for sure. But once I got over that fact and kind of looked at it, you know, without that prejudice, I really do. I love this knife. I mean, if you're looking for a lightweight knife, and again, this is a 3.9-inch blade, so getting into that 4-inch mark, this is one of the lightest knives that I've come across, certainly that I own. So definitely worth checking out. You also can't beat Medford's warranty. You know, made in the U.S. I think all around this is a really really great decision if you're looking for a knife like this. And you know, certainly in this day and age too, I mean, the MSRP on this thing's $560. You can find these for about $350, $375 right now, and for that price, like that's great. I think that's what this knife should have cost the entire time. I cannot imagine spending MSRP on this thing, but you know, on the secondary, you keep your eyes open. I think this is it's a great option. So with that concludes my overview. Appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll see you next time.